Yeah, Gage.
Is there an area of Nevada County history that you think has been neglected that would be especially fruitful for research? Or maybe there's more than one answer that's true.
I would say yes, there are several such areas. And not because I know something special of what's happening there, but simply by the fact that so far, every time anybody has picked a section, a portion of it, they discover it's a whole lot more interesting than anybody ever imagined. There are these dazzling periods. There are spectacular periods in our history that are such that they make these other things look diminished. But once you, for instance, there was a time when the 1890s didn't interest me a bit until I had some things to work with, and I ended up reprinting 2 1895 publications under one. I call it 1895 Pictorial History. Learned a lot in there, but I also have some unpublished stuff. I have a young girl's diary written in the 1890s that I have not published. I'm still figuring out exactly how and what to do. The family or the people that gave it to me have said it's okay for me to do something with it. It's a very personal diary of a young girl living in Grass Valley, attending high school in her last year of high school, and then the year following that. And it isn't like you would guess. It's not a bit like you would guess. This gal, I mean, we think of that being kind of a restricted era, you know. This gal, she was running around night and day. She was seeing boys in the middle of the night. She was tops in her class. She went to lots of church services. Why? To meet boys? I mean, and you go from one church to another. Her diary talks about, it really puts down the Cornish. She's putting down the Cornish all the time. Until I finally discover she is Cornish. And all her relatives are Cornish, but her dad is a Finn. And she's decided the Finns are the best people of all. And she ended up marrying a Cornish guy. The story ends sadly, but it's an eye-opener. And that's what makes me say that I feel that you could comfortably select any decade or couple of decades and do research on it here at this place, and you'd find some really interesting stuff. The people here, the people everywhere on Earth are really smart about some things and dumb about some things. They're educated about some things and not educated about others. But human beings wouldn't have lasted all this time if they weren't pretty clever and didn't learn stuff. I mean, evolution wipes out those kind of species, but people and cockroaches and coyotes, they last. They adapt. And we have rough times and all. But this is also, it clearly to me, is a county, it's a place where from the very beginning, special kind of people came here, among some unspecial people, but a lot of special people, enough that it has kept attracting other similarly special people to come here. Instead of going to some other town, some other village that could have been very similar to it, but this place, because of the music of the mountains, for instance, or a foothill theater, or this kind of thing that keeps repeating. I mean, this isn't the first time that the music has been around here. It's not the first time we've had theatrical groups around it. You can do over and over, it keeps repeating. And so that this is always going to be an exciting, dynamic place for people to be. And but back to research Saturday. We'll go over there, and I'm counting on Maria to run this tour. I mean, I'll make comments and what have you. I have one last caveat, I got a little bit. I really hate to come to town. That's why I live out in the woods. I mean, that's what keeps me sort of sane. And people say, you know, I'm far off from being sane. But I get funny if I'm away from home too much. And so to do all these years and years of research, I quickly learned that I couldn't keep on doing it in libraries, go and doing microfilm in libraries. So early on, I bought my own microfilm reader, and I started buying my own microfilm reels. For one thing, a lot of libraries curtail you. You know, they don't want you occupying the machine there all day. They got other people who want to use the machine or want to look at the film or what have you. So I have built up a very large library at my place. I have a large library. Artist and I have a large library because it's not because just because it's owned by both of us, but she has contributed as many books as I have. I mean, we've bought so many books. And when they created a county library system here, people went a little crazy. And they decided to get rid of all the books that nobody had taken out for a while. In those days, you had a little slip in the book, and they actually stamped it right in the book. So you could tell how many times that book had been taken out. Nobody took the book out for 2 or 3 years, and wham, away it went. You know, they sold it. And we collected so many wonderful books for $1 or $2 a piece. A whole set of Bancroft. Wonderful stuff that I thought, you know, I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with all these things, but it shouldn't leave the county. A lot of this stuff the county had to go out and buy all over again. After second thoughts, they realized they needed it here. So anyway, by this process, I've been able to replicate a lot of these things. Certainly not all of them by a long shot. I keep coming in here all the time. And I keep saying I'll spend more time at the Foley's, spend more time at the Searles. And the reason I don't is I just really hate to come in. Not to those places. I hate to come into town. And so people see me. I've been into town an awful lot these last 2 months, and for a lot of things have been going on. And you're not going to see me for a while now because it's almost June, and school is about to let out, and I'm going on vacation, which means I'm going to be working on books. So thanks a lot. Yeah.
I think it would be nice for you to tell some of the people, besides your talent as an artist and a book printer, the amazing thing is you went out in the woods and built a house. How did you know how to build your own cottage?
Out of books. Out of books. Yeah, bought a lot of books. That's how. And I hired a friend who was an architect. So I had plans. Yeah. Okay. What?
Is your house a secret, the location of it?
No, it's not a secret.
Is it on Ubet Road, not that way?
You go on Ubet Road, then you go to Red Dog Road, then you go to Chalk Bluff Road, and then you'll go to William Quirk Memorial Drive, named for a man who's buried in Red Dog Cemetery. But you can Google us. You can't find us in the phone book because we have a cell phone. We're off the grid. But you can Google us if you know our address. 18919 William Quirk. Well, if you do William Quirk Memorial Drive, if you know that, there's only 2 houses on the street. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Before you depart tonight, we'd like to do the